Hello, everybody. Uh, so, yeah. Alex Bogey, wherever you are, we'll do Deep Space Nine after the boys since you didn't message Danny, if you hear this. And so try to reach out to Danny before we finish the boys.
And I had to delete that.
Alex says he did message you. You sure you messaged the right Dork Knight?
I never got a message. He's messaging the wrong guy.
Yeah, so that's the only reason, Alex, is because we hadn't heard from you. And so there's some miscommunication. You know, Danny's address is right above his face. Make sure that's exactly what you put in. But don't worry, the boys review, besides that, I will tell you this, Alex, the boys review will not be long. We're not going play-by-play through the 4 episodes. We're just talking about our overall thoughts on the first 4 episodes of Season 4. Next week, we'll do an in-depth review of of Episode 5. But today is just kind of a general overview of what we think of the first half a season. Which, it's stupid to think 4 episodes is half a season. That's just ridiculous.
I can't.
Can you not hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, Danny?
I can't hear anything.
Let's see. Yeah, my microphone thing is going. Guys in the chat, let me know if you can hear me. Because Danny obviously can't.
I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear you.
No, I can't. All right. Hopefully, somebody in the chat, tell me if you can hear my voice. Hello. Because according to... Okay, thank you, 47 Yorktown. And, yeah, I just... I was getting concerned there. So Danny just couldn't hear me, and you guys say Danny was quiet. So we'll see if when he comes back, if he gets that fixed. Because I have a very, very special presentation for you. Alex says, I'm following Danny, but he's not following me. I don't know if that's necessary to send him a message.
There we go. Okay.
So you can hear me now?
Yeah, that was weird. Had to leave.
Okay. Well, I was saying before so just to kind of catch you up on what I told everybody is we're doing the boys' first 2 reasons. 1, you and Alex are having problems connecting, and 2, the boys' review is going to be short because this is just an overview of episodes 1 through 4. Next week, we'll get into the boys in depth with episode 5. And which, boy, am I also looking forward to that. Alex says he is following you, but you're not following him, and I don't know if that matters.
Well, I tried looking for him, and I don't see him following me. You're supposed to be able to message me without following me anyway.
Alex, what exactly is your Twitter handle so that Danny can attempt to message you? And I'm trying to think if I'm looking to see if Alex has messaged me. Because, I don't see anything from him, but he might have that I just missed it.
Yeah. And because of a little snafu, I had to delete that tweet. So if you want to like and retweet the other one, sorry, it just went out.
Well, the first one that I retweeted would still be valid, wouldn't it?
No, because I deleted it.
Why'd you delete it?
Because it had incorrect information on it.
What was incorrect?
The links.
So Bogey Alex 36111.
Well, I'll go to Twitter right now. I'll take care of it. Let's see. Yeah, I got no messages. Go to my profile, under followers.
Yeah, so when I search for that, I do see your Alex Bogey's icon.
All right. Where did he put that? Okay.
All right, so.
There he is. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and Danny, they're saying you're too quiet.
All right. How's this as far as how I sound? And Alex, I just
Is your volume down on your mic or something?
No, it's actually all the way up. Oh. How's this? Now this should be it.
There you go. Now you're coming in.
All right, good deal.
All right, so I actually prepared something special for you, since you were so kind as to have me watch these 4 episodes of The Boys.
You made me watch Discovery, man. That was the deal.
Oh, no. This makes Discovery look, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. So,
All right.
So I have put, where'd you go?
Right here.
I don't see you. Did you turn your camera off for some reason?
I'm adjusting some settings that are different from the previous show I was just on. So
Okay, yeah. All right, so here are some wonderful clips from The Boys season 4 thus far. For those of you that, and this is just, by the way, the idea that The Boys is somehow politically biased, way overstated. There's no political bias in this show, and these clips will absolutely prove that.
All right.
With his newly announced anti-superhero legislation, Bob Singer has just shown the American people who he really is. A deranged fascist, hell-bent on ruling the country.
You should hear what they say about me.
Well, that's why you and me are going to prove.
We're just going to get copyright claim.
Will you stop ruining things, dude? No, I'm very careful about this. You're not going to get copyright struck if you have short clips. Right?
Okay.
So there's a point to this, so you need to listen to it instead of talking over it.
Okay.
Well, that's why you and me are going to prove to them that even with a soft on crime libtard for a president, it's going to be business as usual.
I'm not giving off too much of a blow.
Where'd you go now?
I'm trying to adjust some settings. Just no sell it, and I'll be done in a couple seconds. Sorry.
No sell it. What is that even?
That's a wrestling term. That means just don't acknowledge that I'm my thing, and I'm listening.
Well, I just want to know that you're actually paying attention.
I am.
Blindside vibe, am I?
As if that's a bad thing? Wait, what is that smell? Will everyone stop? What is that smell?
Is
that you?
I had falafel for lunch.
I smell an Oscar nomination.
The chosen one narrative only works if he stands alone. Harry Potter, Neo, Luke Skywalker. Hollywood's trained people to fall in love with white boy lone saviors, so America will want to fall in love with Ryan.
So please join me in welcoming author, filmmaker, political activist, commentator, and a leading voice of the alt-suit movement on YouTube, Firecracker.
The troll farms are already digging up fringe anti-Starlight content and injecting it into the mainstream. So far, Starlight's progressive jihad and hashtag arrogant white feminism are showing promise.
Here's your peppermint latte.
Why, thank you.
Happy holidays.
Excuse me? Don't you mean Merry Christmas?
You know, when I first met you, I thought you were kind of uppity, but you're one of the good ones.
Everybody's given up on you. You're all alone until the coach
swoops in and saves me from the ghetto.
No. You actually save each other. It's a very balanced narrative. All the sensitivity readers that we hired, they all agreed.
There were no relations with an octopus. It's just a racist rumor and a ridiculous lie perpetuated by a jilted and emotionally unstable, hysterical woman who, let's be clear, pooped in my bed.
Thank you.
Now you can't say Merry Christmas, just Happy Holidays. Or maybe just season's greetings in a million different neutered ways.
Wrangler, isn't he?
Texas nutjob. The San Antonio office had to cover up those migrant murders.
I kind of like him.
Homelander faces his toughest opponent yet, our corrupt legal system.
Smash that donate button, get free tote.
Roland Keating attacked Homelander's son.
And Kanye West! But 6 months ago, Starlight visited a clinic. She wasn't going for a checkup.
What the fuck?
She found out that she was pregnant. And she had an abortion.
I know You're the smartest woman on Earth.
Smartest person.
I'm allowed to say f you to any deep state c***s try and keep me from the truth.
Starlight House, a so-called home for at-risk teens. Sure, and Jeff Epstein killed himself. Now, the only thing these teens are at risk of is being groomed and thrown into Starlight's LGBT terror dungeon.
The soup control bill would have passed with flying colors. But after what you pulled today, might as well call it the Psycho Starlight Baby Killer Bill. Sorry, doesn't bring back all the Republican votes you just torched.
Yeah, Alex, you're backstage, so just hang on a minute.
Welcome to the monkey house.
By the way, I just got to say, I love the fact that it says that, you know, the flat earthers and Starlight is a lizard person and all that stuff. I mean, you could spend hours just on this scene.
Right.
You know.
This creep had photos of his quote-unquote niece naked in the bathtub. He's an Antifa pedo who f***ed around and found out. And an eye for an eye might be in the Jew section of the Bible, but it is still in the Bible.
Sister Sage.
Just Sage.
Right.
Vought added the sister part. Can't have one of us without a racial qualifier.
You know, I would have thought the smartest woman on Earth would have a nicer place.
Smartest person.
Best gonna move on. The flat earthers get the space at 4:30.
Okay. Hey, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. What's your name? I'm okay.
Homelander himself said Starlight traffics kids.
Everyone remain calm. You're all very special people. Stop it. Stop.
Justice prevailed today as the jury in Homelander's murder trial handed down a not guilty verdict. But that moment of national healing was cut tragically short. Violent attacks by Starlight supporters left 3 innocent patriots dead.
Over the next 2 hours, I will prove that Starlight works with Oprah and Tom Hanks to set up a satanic home delivery service.
Your videos got me to see that my entire family had been brainwashed by Clover genders like Starlight. I told them that I couldn't speak to them again until they did their own research. It's been 3 years now.
Maybe they lost a job or a house or a kid to Oxy, and politicians don't give a shit.
We loved you from your first Holocaust hoax video.
An order of a hot dog gets you a boy, a taco, a girl, a combo gets you a child they forced to have trans surgery, and a soda gets you a shot of adrenochrome.
Do you actually believe all of this? Or is it just bullshit smeared on top of a personal vendetta?
Ain't you a little mouthy one?
Appreciate the subtextual racism there.
Mainstream media tells them to be ashamed of their skin color, so I want to bring them together, tell them a story, give them a purpose.
We all know that Oprah has been under house arrest ever since she sat down with Harry and that monarchy f***er Meghan Markle.
Storm has arrived. Splinter and I.
How much more of this? I watched the show. I gotta pee. You're killing me.
It's almost over.
After infiltrating a
How can you get to pee already? We've been going for 10 minutes.
I've been sitting in this chair a
For
couple
those who
hours.
say that the evidence against
Not my
Hanks
problem.
is less
Fair
clear
enough.
cut. Well, that's because the brave whistleblower who was gonna blow Forrest Gump's pedo ring wide open fell off a bridge before he got the chance.
Which would you rather believe, that you belong to a community of warriors battling a secret evil, or that you're a lonely, inconsequential nobody that no one will ever remember?
Oh, for
So there you go. That sums up the first 4 episodes of The Boys, and as you can see, there's no bias whatsoever.
Not really. It's kind of it takes shots at both sides pretty.
Yeah,
evenly.
So you, yeah. Obviously, it's. I don't know where all the people that think that there's anything even slightly biased about this.
Well, it's because the creator of this show.
No, it's because it is. Dude,
I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all.
Oh, come on! Did you? That's like 7.5 minutes of 10 to 15-second clips of jab after jab after jab against MAGA right people. And in fact, the only defense that you can make about this stuff is that Marjorie Taylor Greene exists. I'm sorry, but they're basically making it out that Alex, it just whoop, and he left. He said something and then left. You guys couldn't hear him because he's backstage, but Alex said something about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then his connection dropped or something. But anyway,
hey, Anthony.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry. I absolutely hate this show. I think that I know that, because I watched some of the show you were on before with, I'm spacing his name.
Oh, Brian, podcast?
Yeah, it was Brian, yeah. And I didn't know that the showrunner said the stuff that Brian read, but it doesn't surprise me.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yes, obviously Homelander is Trump, and Firecracker is basically Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's what they're trying to do here. And they nailed it as far as the stereotypes, but they also, they do make it out that, this is exactly what all conservatives and Republicans and all that are. That you're either that or you're a nice, good, progressive lefty. There's nothing in between. And so I absolutely hate this show. I'm sure you're looking forward to the next episode because you probably think it's awesome.
I find it entertaining. However, this season has taken a little bit of a departure from previous ones, where it is leaning a little bit more toward the liberal side. But
a little bit.
I still find it entertaining. Well, because like the people on the people representing your left wing in the show don't come off so great either. I mean, it's but we're only 4 episodes into the season. I might be changing my tune if they continue to pile on.
I don't understand what you're talking about. What liberals in the show are being portrayed in a negative light, even remotely nearly like what they're doing to the right?
So, I would. Oh, Alex left again. I was about to say
I think he's having some kind of connection problem.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Starlight goes ham on Firecracker. Damn near kills her. Has to get stopped. And,
yeah. But that's not. Starlight is also a person that used to be a part of that movement.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let's just. I guess that's your hot take. You spent the first.
That's my whole review, man.
minutes.
I hate this show. That's my review of the first 4 episodes.
Okay.
This show gets an FU out of 10. I don't think there's any way that it can save itself. I really don't.
Okay.
Unless, because every, like I said, you are either basically you're either a evil alt-right conspiracy nut job. Or you're a good, heroic liberal.
You didn't watch the first 3 seasons, did you?
No, I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
You would say it took a little bit of a harder turn this season, wouldn't you?
No, I don't think
so.
No, I just think this season is less nuanced with its writing. The first 3 seasons, they didn't, come out and just blare out MAGA slogans every episode.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Homelander was a representative of conservative leadership was there from day one.
Okay. So we're not going to be doing any kind of like frame by frame thing of this.
Not for these first 4. We'd be here until 3:00 in the morning.
No, fair enough. So
And hopefully Alex makes it back so we can go on to Deep Space Nine. But what's your take on this show? I mean, other than you think it's fair and balanced to borrow from Fox News?
Well, I think they were taking I think I'm having a little bit more carryover from the first 3 seasons. You know, I just watched the 4th episode like 3-4 hours ago.
Right.
It's becoming more and more blatant. So Alex is back. Alex, whatever noise you have on in the background, we're going to need you to turn that off or mute it. Here's what I think we should do right now, if you don't mind, because I am going to hurt myself if I do not go to the bathroom.
Right, you're going to go pee.
Bring him on and talk about why he's made us watch possibly one of the worst, if not the worst, episodes of Deep Space Nine ever.
So, Alex. Can you hear me, Alex? Hello, Alex.
Can you hear?
Yeah,
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So Danny, and he's gone again. This is going to be a long night, folks. Let's see. We'll see if Alex makes it back here in a minute. And let me go find the video for not the Acolyte. Deep Space Nine, Season 5. Well, hopefully Alex makes it back sometime soon. Anyway, I want to welcome everybody that's here. Anthony Mark was first in the chat. Bradley, ABJ, Alex, of course, Mike Richards, Stan Lee, 47 Yorktown. Miss Moneypenny's here. Let's see. There he is. Alex, can you hear me? Alex, you know, I think that you're not listening to me through EV Mux. You're like listening through the actual live stream, so there's a long delay. You need to be listening through EV Mux and turn off the live stream if you have that in a separate browser. And I don't know if no, you're frozen, so I don't know if you're there or not. Nope, he's gone again. All right, so this is, oh boy. So yeah, Thomas Potts is here. Let's see. And so let's just, I'll just start picking random things from the chat here. Thomas Potts says, what is this garbage looking show? That is The Boys season 4. And it is absolute garbage, Thomas. I'm not going to lie. I think that this show is, I mean, look, I will watch Star Trek Discovery as much as I don't like it. I will watch, you know, all the Star Wars shows, even though some of them have some serious problems. But this show, I will tell you, the only reason I'm watching it is because, you know, Danny really, really wants to review it. Otherwise, I would absolutely skip this show. And it's not woke Disney crap, believe it or not, because this is woke Amazon Prime crap. That's what Stormfront did too. Yeah, Stormfront was, and she was a character from last season that was also kind of a Marjorie Taylor Greene. And there's Alex once again. I don't know if you heard me, Alex, but it sounds like you have the live stream playing on a separate browser. If so, turn that off. You should only be listening.
No, it's not on a separate browser. It's on the TV.
Well, then,
mute your TV. So I'm thinking I'm going to make an executive decision here, Alex. We're either going to like try this another day, or happy birthday. I'm sorry, but we watched the show you wanted us to watch. Unfortunately, we'll review it, but
yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, Alex, you got to have a stable internet connection for this to work.
Yeah.
And well, thank you, Anthony. That's very kind of you. I wouldn't want to debate me either because, you know, I'm right about everything. But
you know, you and Mr. Know-It-All are two peas in a pod. What did you think about Mr. Know-It-All?
I liked him. I said that this morning on my live stream. I said that I think he's a great guy. Hopefully he'll come back.
I really like the idea he talked to you about. I hope you guys follow up on that. I think that would be great because he'll make it look very professional and it'll probably be your height.
Don't be talking.
Okay.
But no, if he wants to come back on next week or any other week, obviously you have his contact info. Make sure that you tell him that if he'd like to come back on, he's welcome to do so.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he'll be sitting there going, well, if only they would have invited me back, I would have come back on. And we'll be saying, if only he would have reached out to us, we could have had him on.
Oh, I'll pester him to join us. Don't you worry. I was also listening. So I guess I get to tell you this at the same time I'm telling everybody else. So Brian really wants to review The Boys. Wasn't going to do it.
Right.
His brother.
I heard he's reluctant about it.
Yeah, well, and his brother Shane is not going to be around for a while. So he asked me if I could make just reviewing The Boys a regular thing. I can get my boys fix over there on Thursdays, and we can talk about something else. I'm not going to do to you what you do to me.
No.
Force you to watch something you don't want to watch. If you don't want to watch, we don't got to hate watch stuff. That's not what
I'm not hate watching it. I'm going to give it an honest review. But right now, the problem is that there's. And I am curious to see if he does any better because this guy has made some quality work, but the problem is that it's so blatant and over the top. This is exactly what the Fandom Menace thinks The Acolyte is.
Yeah, that's the funny part.
Yeah,
for the most part, love this show.
Right.
And
so, and Stan wants to know don't I find it funny? If you're talking about The Boys, most of the humor, no, I do not think lands because most of the humor is dependent on basically saying, ha, aren't MAGA Republicans stupid? And while I will tell you flat out, I would tend to say, yes, they are. However, I also know that that's a fringe group of the Republican Party. That's not all Republicans. And the way The Boys is set up is that basically it's mainstream. All right, Alex is trying once again.
All right, we'll do it.
And as soon as I bring him on, he drops.
Oh my gosh!
So we'll just leave the blank slate there. See if he comes back on. We'll start talking about the episode, and we'll see if Alex can stabilize his internet connection long enough to tell us why we're watching this piece of garbage.
Well, okay, so that's it for The Boys. I really did think because not too many people are reviewing it. So
right, but doing episodes one, the problem is, if like I said, we'd have to be here for a 5-hour live stream to really get into episodes 1, 2. What we could do if you want is do 2 episodes next week, but the problem is that if we don't do episode 5. We're behind.
Yeah, I don't want
and honestly, you know why nobody's reviewing it? Because nobody's probably watching it. There's a lot of people, and this is the funny thing. All these people that are posting videos about the failure of various shows, like they say, oh, Star Trek reviews are in the toilet. Oh, the Acolyte reviews are in the toilet, right? They're posting videos about this because it's a popular subject, which means it's probably doing well.
Yeah.
If everybody was watching The Boys right now, there'd be 8 billion videos on YouTube about The Boys.
What if we just do audio, like Stan suggested?
That's fine. If it's working, it's working. Good.
Yeah. Give us something other than the nipple to look at, if you don't mind.
If he knows how. I don't know if he knows how to change it.
Well, never mind then.
Yeah. I don't want to put him through too much. So, Alex, why did you want us to watch this episode? And he's gone. Every time I ask him a question, he disappears. All right. I guess doing audio only. Alex, get yourself a real freaking internet connection. I told you when we talked about it this morning. He was saying, so he lives at a place that's also a business, and he was saying so he can't get landline internet. No, that's all you need is permission from the owner, and Comcast or AT&T or whoever can run the line to you. But if, and the same is true, by the way, with apartment buildings. If you can get written permission from the apartment manager for them to install a cable line, they can do it. They just can't do it without written permission because you don't own the property. And that's the same, by the way, technically, if you rent a house. It's just that nobody ever asks if you're in a house, you know.
Yeah.
So our episode opens up with typical 12-year-old writing about sex, because we have Dax comes in to join Odo and Cisco for some coffee.
This is so cringe. Oh, and Odo directed the episode, by the way.
Yeah. Renee Auberjonois directed this episode. So Dax comes in and is suffering from a pulled muscle or something because of her latest sexual escapades with Worf.
This really is like the worst episode of Deep
Right.
Space.
And they just talk about they spend the opening sequence of this episode is basically them talking about how many times Dax was sent to the hospital because of their sex. And then Odo says the only person who's had to go to the hospital more is Worf because of their sex. Okay, I gotcha. So that's Alex's premise, is that he always wanted to go on a vacation in Risa. So I would not, and I'll tell you why as we get through it. Risa is the absolute opposite of righteousness and morality. You know, I'm sorry. Look, I'm not saying it wouldn't be fun, but it would also be fun to, be put in a room with a bunch of people I hate and hand me a machine gun and lay into them. Yes. Would that be fun? Absolutely. Is it an evil, horrible thing to do? Yes. Now, people think, oh, but it's just sex. That doesn't change the fact that, it's immoral. And, I don't like so this is basically just, Risa is a gigantic brothel. That's all it is.
But it seems like they're free. You just have to have a little statue,
And Stan, let me put it to you this way, as far as having fun murdering people. I'm not saying I want to murder people. I'm not. But, for example, a lot of people play games like Call of Duty and other games so that they can vent their aggressions on simulated people. A lot of people...
It's cathartic.
A lot of people would love it if we had holodecks and you could grab a phaser and start blasting, bad guys and stuff. Because that's just a male aggression kind of thing, mostly.
So, Alex, we did the watch-along on Tuesday.
And yes...
He really did agree with the villain of the show.
Yeah. He's only written as the villain because that's just the writers are like into the hippie free love kind of attitude on things. The only, you could just as easily, it would take very little effort to make this episode to where Worf and the I can't remember what they're called, but the group that was protesting at Risa, it would not take a lot to make them into the heroes of the story.
Is this on the Patreon already? Or watch along?
No, not yet. I'm going to have to do that tomorrow. I've been kind of tied up with stuff.
No worries.
But yeah, but honestly, yes, I do agree with the villains as far as, maybe not entirely, like their motivation had nothing to do with morality. Their thing was that it's making the Federation soft.
Making them weak.
Yeah. Which was also true.
Which was what was the appeal to Worf, because Worf ultimately kind of joins their cause until they take it a step too far after Worf says he's leaving.
Right. But yeah, if you look at, the fall of empires, it's commonly like after an empire rises to power and they have all the stuff, then what do? They become extremely decadent. They become hedonistic, and then they collapse.
Look, I just want to take a moment to apologize to everybody watching over these weird technical difficulties. We should have did a test run with Alex. Also, I want to apologize because if you look at the thumbnail, you think we would have spent more than 15 minutes on the boys. So it looks like we did a little bait and switch on you.
Well, no, this
we
was
brought
supposed.
you in with the boys to talk
This was
about
supposed
the
to be
worst
the-
episode of Deep Space Nine.
But this was supposed to be. I mean, Alex did pay for this.
He did. Which
And so this was the plan. The boys came up afterwards. You asked if we could also review the boys.
Yeah.
So, and so, and look, that's great. You know, you like the ocean, but you know, do you have hookers in your house all the time? Do you walk outside on the beach with little statues and just screw whoever you run into? Because that's disgusting. I'm sorry. It is. Would it? And again, would it be fun? Sure. You know, but I agree that if the United States became that decadent, guess what? Anybody could take over this country. But they wouldn't have to because this country would collapse from within, which I think is already going to happen anyway. But that's a whole other thing. Yeah. So after their whole teehee sex is funny conversation,
This whole thing was cringe. I mean,
Yeah.
it just sophomoric at best, and that's probably being too polite. The writing, the humor is all like cheap PG-13. Just this is really. I thought about it more afterwards and just got upset. I mean, like this is the worst. I mean, he's right. I mean, it is funny. This is the worst episode of Deep Space Nine. And somehow it still manages to be better than Discovery. But man, this is
I
painful
disagree.
to watch. This is painful.
I
to
think
watch.
there are episodes of Discovery that are better than this.
Okay, I will agree with that statement. I was talking about the totality of the.
Well, the totality of Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine is you know one of the best Star Trek shows out there.
Oh, totally.
You know, so yeah, sure, but it lowers the average, but it doesn't lower it that much because it's one episode out of 7 seasons.
Yeah, and you got to understand, this is back when seasons were like almost 30 episodes.
Right.
You know, not 8.
Right. So does this ruin Deep Space Nine for me? No, this is just a really bad episode. It should be decanonized, to be honest. That's like that bad.
It is really bad.
Right.
I mean, and not just with the stupid, like, I mean, this whole episode is just they promote like polyamorous relationships. They promote just promiscuity, like hedonism, just like everything just wrong that I don't want in my Star Trek. This episode seems to have it. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, it's under the guise of they're enlightened.
Yeah, which is like the whole thing with who's the one that looked like Cece that kept grossing me out, and the other one,
Lita,
Bashir and Lita. That whole subplot with them is just just revolting. You know what they do to Worf? They kind of somehow managed to make Worf a bitch, you know, or a pansy. Sorry.
And let me address this because Alex, you've said this a few times in the past, and I don't know. You got to get this into your head. This has nothing. I mean, nothing to do with Gene Roddenberry's vision. Gene Roddenberry was dead like 7 years before this episode was produced. This, Gene, and don't tell me, oh, well, Berman was following. No, this Gene Roddenberry was opposed to the concept of Deep Space Nine. And while he never lived to see Deep Space Nine, when he didn't want it to happen. And he certainly so and I don't give a crap about Gene Roddenberry and his. I mean, Gene Roddenberry didn't have a freaking vision. I don't know why people think he did. Well, I do know why people think.
You know what his vision. I almost feel like the line that Zephram Cochrane line.
Dollar signs.
Yeah. I'm telling you, whoever wrote that. They were talking about Gene Roddenberry.
They absolutely were.
Yeah.
Gene Roddenberry was trying to make a buck by selling.
I don't even like to fly. I take the train.
Yeah. But Gene was he was trying to make a buck by selling a sci-fi show to the networks. That's what he was trying to do. And if you listen,
A Western in Space, I believe, was the elevator pitch.
That was the elevator pitch, and he he admits if you watch, and it's really actually very enlightening. And this is the problem. You know who Judge Judy is?
Yes.
Okay. No, this is it's an interesting truism that Judge Judy likes to say, and this is why it's easy to catch Gene Roddenberry on his vision, is tell the truth because you don't have to have a good memory if you just tell the truth.
Exactly.
All right. And so like Gene Roddenberry in the video release of The Cage, on the VHS release of The Cage, there's an interview with Gene. Well, it's not even an interview. It's just like a Gene Roddenberry talking to the camera on the set of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And he tells the story of the Wagon Train to the Stars line. Because he flat out says that he just told that to the network executives so that he could get funding for Star Trek. That's why he said it. He didn't say it because he actually wanted to do a Western in space. And if you look at The Cage is nothing like a Western. But then if you look at The Man Trap, it actually is more like a Western. And what is the point then?
Uh-oh, he's back.
The
second I take it down.
Yeah.
Had a very different vision than what he said.
He didn't have a vision. That's what you're missing. He had no vision.
You yourself admitted he wanted it to be a sexy sci-fi show.
No, I said that he liked to write about sex. That was something that he...
It shows in this episode, and it shows in
but
his
no,
other
but
movie
Alex, he had...
Through.
Why'd you take him off?
I didn't. He's still there.
We don't see
it. We don't see him, but we can hear him.
I'm just speaking. I've turned off the camera.
Yeah, but can the audience see him? Because the gray box disappeared from the...
I don't see... Oh, sure. I don't see the point in it, but there you go.
Well, no, I just want to make sure he was there. I couldn't...
He's there. I just hit him, his lair. But.
All right. So, but here's the thing. Gene Roddenberry had nothing, absolutely zilch to do with this episode. So you can't say this episode had anything to do with his vision. He was dead.
I just wrote you that Gene Roddenberry created the concept. He wanted it to be even more titillating than it ended up being. Rick Berman kept true to that. He just toned it down because the network wouldn't let him do the full.
But it's not some grand. No, it's not some grand. Gene Roddenberry just liked writing about sex. It had nothing to do with some grand vision. And he's gone again. I understand that you're one of those people that genuinely believes that Gene Roddenberry had a vision for Star Trek. He didn't. Yes, he liked to write about sex because that's here's the thing about writing. Writers tend to write about what they know about. And you know what Gene Roddenberry did know about? Screwing around.
Apparently with underage children, if you see the one movie credit to his name that the same gentleman had paid us to watch.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like in real life. The fact that while he was married, he was having sex with Majel Barrett and Nichelle Nichols. Or Nicole. I can never get her name right.
Nichelle Nichols.
Nichols. So I don't know why. She's like the hottest chick ever, and I can never remember her name. But anyway, but he was screwing Nichelle and Majel at the same time that he was married to a third woman. So the only thing he knew about was screwing women. And so what did he like to write about? Sex. And look at the story of The Cage. The Cage, the Thelosians literally offer Pike a choice of 3 women to screw. It's the whole plot. The fact that Risa is a hooker planet and all that, and you say that Roddenberry created Risa. Look, I know Risa showed up in TNG. I don't know that Roddenberry created Risa. What's the first episode with Risa in it? Does anybody know?
Captain's Holiday.
Okay.
Going on vacation.
Who wrote Captain's Holiday?
Iron Bears. Same guy as this one.
Okay, so then, no, Gene Roddenberry didn't create Risa. Ira did.
And I don't know about you guys, but have you seen Ira? That guy looks like a pedo.
Dude.
He does, man.
Yeah, Ira
he dyes his goatee blue, for crying out loud.
There are 2 writers, Ira and Ronald D. Moore. Which, that figures.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, he got away from Iris, so we could get the masterpiece that is Battlestar Galactica.
Yes, but yeah. So if Captain's Holiday was the origin of Risa, and let's see, Captain's Holiday is season 3. So Roddenberry was no longer the showrunner at that point.
Yeah, and Creep, thanks. I appreciate you going through all that trouble to still find me. But yeah, YouTube doesn't like my channel very much.
No. Yeah. Well, maybe it's because every time you're on, you spew racism and.
I do not.
So Ira Stephen Bear obviously likes the idea of a hooker planet, and don't get me wrong, that originated with the man trap. And he's gone again, because honestly, and I don't think Roddenberry wrote the man trap either. But let's take a look. Because in the man trap, that's the first reference of a hooker planet. And that one was written by George Clayton Johnson. Because in the man trap, there's a scene where the red shirt, well, he's not really a red shirt, but he's, dead meat. He says, "Hey, you remind me of a woman I saw on Wrigley's Pleasure Planet."
And Brian, that's awesome, man. Do me a favor like the other guys did. If you don't mind, take a little photo and DM or and email it. We were email it to me. And Ariel is not here. Ariel still hasn't got me her address, and neither yesterday's winner did not reach out to me either. Darth Maul, right? It was Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Neither of those people are here yet, though. So.
Yeah. The other person that you could credit with this would be Robert Bloch. Do you know who that is?
No.
Have you ever heard the name?
It's not ringing any bells.
He was an author, and his best known work was from 1960, a little piece called Psycho. That Hitchcock then adapted.
Oh, sweet. I'm going to go check this photo out real quick. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it, man. I always try to curate something tailored to people based off of things they've said in the chat and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Oh, do you have a trivia question for today?
It was boys related, so I'm actually scouring my databases here looking for.
No, you can do a boys related trivia question.
I don't even want to.
I know you're mad at me for not wanting to spend the whole show on the boys, but
not the whole show, but I thought we'd spend at least half of the show on it.
Oh, we spent 20 minutes. I just don't have a lot to say about it because without going play by play through the episodes, there's not a lot I can say other than I really hate the show.
Yeah, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
I've already spent a good at least 10 minutes behind the scenes looking for a trivia question. I'm changing it, so it's all good. We'll get there.
Okay.
So.
All right, so we're still in the first scene of this episode because
it's terrible.
Yeah. So after they make their jokes about Dax and Worf hurting themselves having sex, they mention they're going on vacation to Risa, and then Bashir and Lita decide to invite themselves to come along with him. And they said, "Oh, don't worry, you won't," and they're like nudging each other again. 12-year-olds writing about sex. "Oh, don't worry, you won't see us once we get there," because they're going to be having lots of sex because that's what people do on Risa.
Yeah, it's just remember we were watching this. I was like, I don't remember this episode. I honestly don't know if I saw it and just deleted it from my mind, or if I was lucky enough to have managed missing this episode. But this is a really bad episode, and this is supposed to be a family show, and this whole episode is just promoting promiscuity and it's terrible. It was awful to watch, and that's coming from me.
Right.
So.
And Cinnabon says that Ira did a watch and review of the episode and told stories about crazy input Roddenberry wanted in the episode, and talking about Captain's Holiday.
Super chats.
We get a super. No, I
Judge
hear it.
Judy for $1. I hereby rule that The Boys is garbage and you don't have to review it ever again. I'm also banning wrestling on this channel. Case closed.
So you could see that?
Yeah, it's right here, right in front of me.
Wow, I can't see it.
Sorry.
That's bizarre. I don't know why I couldn't see it.
I know why. Hold up. Can
What?
you see it? Well, it went away the second I moved. I think it was because Alex's layer was at the very, very top above your web
The
source.
web source?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if we get another super chat. But thank you to Judge Judy. Yeah, so look, there's a couple of problems here, Cinnabon. One, am I going to trust Ira Stephen Bear when he says that he didn't come up with the craziness about Risa? Or that Gene wanted it to be worse? I don't know. I mean, you got to question the source. However, yes, I know Roddenberry did love writing about sex. He did think that and dude, Alex, less prudish attitude. I give up. I really.
I feel like he's talking about, 9 out of 10 people have herpes in France. I don't want to.
No, I get that. Look, less prudish or more promiscuous, right?
It's that one,
Yeah, that's the thing. You could say, oh, well, you're just being a prude. What? Because I think that sex is an intimate thing and a very special thing that should be shared between a loving couple, as opposed to something that's just fun to do.
Man, I tell you, speaking of, I really want to make you proud on a personal level. And I am really trying hard to, but you know how I want to say this, you know how cool it is, and you probably do. You're probably the one person that will relate to what I'm saying. This is the first time I've met someone that literally we hold hands and pray together.
Oh,
That's awesome, isn't it?
I didn't know that girl was a Christian, but I'm glad.
She is. She is. Yeah.
I mean, because yesterday was the first time I saw her or even heard about her. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to put things on blast. It's
Right. But that's cool. No, and it is. I will tell you, sex. I think, and this is a problem, and it's getting worse with each successive generation.
Yeah.
But starting with the sexual revolution in the '60s. Sex has become less of a special, intimate thing between two people. It's as spiritual as it is physical if it's done right. To now, it's just effing. It's just, hey, cool, you're hot, I'm hot, let's whip it out and do the deed. And it's just it might be physically pleasurable, but it takes away the meaning behind it. And that's something hopefully you will learn about as time goes on, because I know that you've been kind of on the other side of this. But as hopefully you grow in your maturity and your spirituality, you'll understand in the future just what a difference it'll be.
Can you see the comment on the screen? I just want you to see it.
Harvey Weinstein. You know what? That would not surprise me.
Right.
But yeah, so my problem there, and I don't mean to go off on Alex because he did pay for this, but at the same time, dude, to suggest that someone is a prude because they think that sex should be special, I think that says more about the person making the accusation. That's not a good thing. Just having lots and lots of sex is not a good thing. People think it is, but and you can look at the psychological studies on this. People that screw around more before marriage have a higher divorce rate, have a lower satisfaction rate, have all sorts of problems with intimacy later in life compared to people that don't screw around. And the people that are the happiest with sex in marriage are the people that were virgins when they got married. And if that's all you hear, Alex, then I feel sorry for you. And honestly, because you keep saying how you're an Orthodox Christian, and I'm going to say right here, for the record, bullshit. I'm sorry. You know, if that's how you, and look, that's fine if you feel that way, but don't call yourself a Christian anymore. Please don't. You know, when you're on my church live streams, which you're still welcome to join, but do not call yourself a Christian because you aren't. If that's, you know, well, I'm sorry, you know, if you're going to blaspheme what Christ himself says about it, then yeah, creep.
I thought that would make you laugh.
That was good. I'll give you that one. That was good. But yeah, you know, if you're going to blaspheme what Jesus says, then don't call yourself Christian because that's the worst thing you can do. Anyway, Chief, we're not doing open line live streams because they just get out of control. Whenever we've done them, people just start talking over each other, and you know, it lost its fun. Thomas says, sounds kind of like a liberal belief. You're talking about like the sexual promiscuity. It is. It does fall into the liberal side of things. But it's not, to me, it's not a political issue. And what am I gatekeeping exactly? The sex? Or
the live stream. I think he was referring to Chief and Alex. Look, I actually do want to talk about this for a second, and I'm going to just here. Let me get rid of this too. I used to think that, and
you argued that with me.
I have back in my drinking days, and I have come to
bad choice of words, dude.
really regret it. That I have, you know, because when you go through the steps, like when you're doing step 4, you have your resentments, your fears, and believe it or not, your sex list. And going through that was for me was, you know, if I'd have done that maybe 2-3 years ago, I'd have been like giving myself a high five and thinking it was an accomplishment and awesome. I was just so full of shame and just, I am not looking forward to doing step 5 with my sponsor because it's not going to be fun. So Alex, I couldn't disagree with you more. Sadly, that is an attitude. I don't know why I got taken down, but that is an attitude that many men have. And I think it's sad, to be quite honest with you. I'm very ashamed of my past actions. I'm very disappointed in my past actions, and you should really reevaluate things in your life. I'm not going to go as far as to be like Salty and say you're not Christian, but you're definitely confused, man. It's not an accomplishment. You know what's an accomplishment? Be serious. You know what an accomplishment is? How long have you been married, Salty?
30 years.
That's a fucking accomplishment right there, and that's the only F-bomb I'm dropping this episode. That's an accomplishment. So I'm going off my soapbox now.
No, it's all good. So, and by the way, you know, the sad thing is, so now it's gotten to the point where it's not just an accomplishment for men. Now, quote unquote, sex positive women think it's an accomplishment as well. And so it's instead of trying to
Creep is echoing my sentiment right there. So yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing. Most people that are very promiscuous at one point in their life, and then they get serious about it, they regret it. And you know what doesn't happen? The opposite is where people who were celibate before they got married, and then they got married, and they never regret the fact that they were celibate. In fact, a lot of them really are glad that they were because of all the craziness that's out there. Yeah, body count, exactly, Stanley. That was not a word a decade ago, you know, but you know what a body count is, right?
Only in the context of Ice Cube's band, Body Count.
Oh yeah, it's the latest thing. Like sex positive people, they'll say, "Hey, you know, thinking about going out with you. What's your body count?"
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I've never heard it put that. I've heard body counts in the house, body count.
No,
body counts in the body count. But it was Ice-T's. It was Ice-T's venture into kind of rap rock.
Thank you for the super chat, Alex.
Super chat.
Now, can you see anything on the screen for the super chat?
I did not that time. It's just the comment you shared.
That's weird. I got to figure this out
because I did see it before.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Danny, you took the blue. Oh no, now it's on the screen.
There it is.
Yeah, okay. So it seems to be working now. So whatever you did fixed it.
I just moved Alex's, even though it was off, I moved his layer down.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he thinks you're blue-pilled. And, you know, that doesn't even make sense, Alex, because the blue pill folks, the liberals...
Isn't that like super or blue chew or Viagra or whatever? Is that what he's talking about? Blue
No,
pill?
no.
He's talking about the Matrix blue
yeah,
pill.
Matrix,
Okay.
red pill, blue pill. So red pill is basic, like, for example...
I was about to say, if I took the blue pill, brother, I would be agreeing with you.
Yeah. No, the idea of red pill is like, for example, people say Bill Maher red pilled when he realized how crazy the transsexual movement is. Because it's a moment of truth and usually a moment where you realize that conservative values are true.
The Matrix thing. It's just Viagra is blue. That's where
Right.
going. Yeah.
But the funny thing about saying blue pill is that, well, red pill is generally associated with conservative ideas, and sexual fidelity is a conservative idea.
You know, I'm sorry, Alex, you didn't recommend this episode, 5 months ago, as recently as 5 months ago, because I probably would have been making a damn fool of myself, agreeing with you, saying a bunch of stupid chauvinistic BS.
Right.
But, I can't. It was painful to watch this episode, and when it does get up on supportsalty.com, that sounded dirtier than I meant it. You'll see our reactions in real time. Like we were not,
So they're getting ready to get on the runabout to head to Risa, and then Quark has invited himself because he told Lita she couldn't have the time off to go to Risa unless they brought him with them. Which,
Stanley got my body count reference. The Cop Killer's a song.
That's the song that's in?
From the album, yeah.
Okay. So then we got to the opening credits.
Hey, there we go.
All right, so now Lita is serving everybody because Bertha wants us to try another open live stream. Well, not tonight, but maybe we'll consider it. The problem is, like I said, when we've done open live streams, they stop being fun when it just becomes trying to herd people the whole time, and I'm not interested in just trying to herd cats for 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah. Alex, okay. I'm. Are you clinically insane? And the reason I say that is society wants you to be promiscuous.
I do too, Creep. In fact, if you watch the watch along,
yeah,
that's the only compliment I gave this episode.
Yeah, the DJ Side theme song is awesome. But do you understand that what Alex was saying there, as far as you're just trying to be programmed by society?
Oh, hold up. This one here. Okay. He's trying to say that, like, I'm like the guy in the Matrix who was eating the steak and said he'd rather stay plugged in.
Yeah, but the problem is that society, like mainstream society right now, is saying, go screw everybody. That's what people, it's live your best life. Love is love. It's freaking Pride Month.
Okay, Alex, I guess that's one twisted way of looking at things. Anyway.
Oh, that you're just trying to brag about the fact that you used to be promiscuous?
Yeah.
Well, and see, it's funny because, but everybody who is, especially if they're born again, when they're talking about some of the stuff they did before they were born again, people who, don't have any kind of godliness in their life will say, that doesn't make sense. They're just talking about how they had fun. It does. Like, I knew a guy that his life was something that you would be so envious of if you were not, because he was like having 3-ways all the time on his boat and just partying all the time. He owns a little marina. He was doing all this crazy, stuff that most people would be like, oh, that sounds awesome. And it was nothing but shame to him. So anyway. So they fly to frickin' Risa, and they land in Hookerville, I think it is, in Risa, and notice that, and so Quark is immediately, he's waving around his, hey everybody, I have a free penis statues. And look, this is how bad Risa is. Quark immediately gets 2 women.
Take care, Cinnabon Bunny.
Have a good one, Cinnabon. And, Worf wants to talk to Dax about their relationship, basically, that she doesn't take it seriously. And he's right.
Especially the way she behaves in this episode. And it's crazy. It's like, I don't remember her being this childish,
Right.
'cause she acts like a petulant teenage debutante. I just don't,
And Stan, Worf and Dax are not married yet. This is when they were just dating. And so, and
yeah, everybody in this episode but Worf, definitely.
yeah, I mean, man, I'll bet you when you leave Risa, they just have to spray you with disinfectant. The transporter decontamination settings have to be set to maximum. Because, man, everybody just screws everybody, So then we're introduced to Dax's old girlfriend when she was a man, and, played by, what's her name again?
Vanessa Williams.
Yeah, Vanessa Williams, who is absolutely gorgeous. And that's the thing. It's like looking at these women is wonderful, but thinking about the ideas behind this episode is just horrifying.
Well, a little factoid about her: she lost her Miss America crown because she posed nude.
Right? Yeah, because she had naked. But of course, now that would help you get the Miss America crown.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Ariel, I emailed you. You have a prize pack that I curated just for you right here. You won a trivia thing. I even put the postage on it already. I need you to...
yeah, he even has a special one-of-a-kind condom with his face on it.
That's totally not true. If I were to try to open up a condom with a picture of my face on it, I would lose whatever arousal I already had. It wouldn't work.
Oh, speaking of which, man, that's since you want to talk, that scene where Homelander was telling the guy to masturbate.
Oh my God! Oh God!
That was so brutal.
It was, dude. And then when the lady's like, put him out of his misery, and he squashes his head like a cockroach. I mean, that was terrible. That was just.
And look,
super chat.
Dax here is an accurate depiction of spoiled girl. I agree.
Yeah.
And
pretty much just said that earlier.
Yeah, we can actually agree on something here, Alex. Dax is horrible in this episode. She's wrong about pretty much everything she says. She's basically, her whole thing is, Worf, you should just loosen up. And the problem is that Ira Stephen Bear agrees with Dax. Like, when he wrote this, he was trying to write that Dax is right, that people should just, not take anything seriously because life is fun and, let's all go sex it up. That's basically, what was the planet where they wanted to execute Wesley for breaking some glass? That was Justice was the name of that episode.
But he was asking what the planet was.
I'm trying to remember
because it was kind of like it was a Risa-like kind of.
Yeah, it looked a lot like Risa. Yeah. But yeah, the biggest problem with that episode is there was no justice because Wesley was not executed. And Mercer says this planet reminds me of Space Miami from Andor. Well, I thought you liked Andor. Why couldn't compare anything from this episode to something that I actually liked?
Hey, since I keep, I was asking, I was referencing, Ariel for her prize pack. Let's see. Today,
Edo, thank you, Professor Brainy Specs. Yes.
Thank you, Professor Brainy Specs. Today, this is my favorite of their stickers. I kept one from my laptop, but this is going to be the one for today. Plus a bunch of other cool, fun goodies that you can ask Professor Brainy Specs and Brian and Planet X, who've received their stuff. I try to put a little bit of thought into it. And pretty soon, because this packaging here is torn, these are the unopened, there's still a little piece of gum in here, unopened Star Trek The Motion Picture Topps trading cards.
Which means they could be valuable.
They could be. So I'm going to actually open these just this one, because the packaging on this one is torn. I have 3. The other 2 are in very good condition. And these are going to start getting dropped into to these as well.
So you're going to open it live so we can see what cards are in it?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm going to do when we go to that. Probably after this run with Criticless. Sponsored trivia is over. But speaking of so one of the trivia questions I was going to ask we've already addressed, and that's who created Ryza, which we've already said.
Okay. Did you have Ira Stephen Bear as the answer?
That was the answer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But anyway.
So let me go with, you said you had a boys question.
Yeah, I have to find it though.
All right.
So why are we looking at underwear right now?
Well, you see, that's not underwear. That's what Dax wanted Worf to wear as they scampered around on Ryza, and Worf refused to put it on, which was one of the things that Dax got mad at him for. So, and by the way, how the heck is Worf going to squeeze his 2 penises in that?
Because that wasn't a thing. That was never.
But that looks like it was designed for just one. So, and Nancy Pelosi.
Super chat.
Thank you so much. Says Alex is 100% right. Who wouldn't like to be in Ryza? It's almost like California. Well, there you go. So, you know what? Maybe Nancy Pelosi should get together with Alex.
I mean, if California is the code word for the other word we can't say, sure. But yeah, I tell you what. I'll do the trivia question. I've got this should be a softball for all you Star Trek fans, and then after I ask it, we'll go ahead and cue that up for me. We'll go ahead and run our Criticless ad and talk a little bit about Criticless, and then maybe by then someone will have an answer. And yeah, Planet X, I'm glad you're enjoying Criticless, man.
Super chat.
Rodent of unusual size. Love the Princess Bride reference. Yes. I actually think the essentials from this episode was a good idea, just poorly executed, but made it interesting. The Essentialists, yes, that's who they were. The Essentialists were but the problem is that the Essentialists were right. That's and I think that they could have rewritten it to where, like, this could have been a lesson learned for Dax. Like, the Essentialists took things too far and they had to stop them from destroying the planetary systems, but their cause was right.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So I decided to, I don't want to do a softball question. I'm in a mood. Your Alex buddies got me in a mood. So I'm going to ask the harder question. Are we? It is Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
So this is for those who don't know, we're going to do a trivia question sponsored by Criticless.
I put the Criticless logo up.
I see. Right on. So here is the question. Okay. So in this episode, Captain Baudet is mentioned for the second time in Deep Space Nine, where with regard to Dax. Okay. What episode was the first episode to refer to the relationship between Dax and Captain Baudet?
Yes, and Captain Baudet was the one whose brain you could see, but we never actually see Captain Baudet.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, and that is the question. And while you guys try to Google it and figure it out, good luck with that. Let's check out this message from Criticless.
I wonder if there's any good movies out this weekend.
Would you like me to recommend you some new movies?
Ah! Oh my god, what was that?
Hello, my name is Lit. I am your in-car information system. I can give you recommendations for any type of entertainment. Would you like to hear about the most popular movies in theaters today based on critic scores from Rotten Apples?
Okay, yeah, I would, actually.
The #1 movie in the country this weekend is about a homosexual chipmunk who learns how to play chess. This 4-hour epic displays 10 full chess matches in real time.
No, absolutely not. That sounds literally horrendous. I can't even believe that's real.
Okay, well, the second highest rated movie, with 98% on Rotten Apples, is about a poor starving girl living in the 1920s who finds refuge in a cannibalistic swinger commune, where they all learn the value of love while feasting on the flesh of the innocent.
Who's rating these?
These are ratings from the top film critics in the country.
I am so sick of this. Honestly, I'll just find my own movie. I wonder if there's any good movies out this weekend.
Would you like me to recommend you some new movies?
Come on.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I was going to bring up Chief Cook says Sacrifice of Angels.
It's not that. I'll give a clue. It is a part, I won't tell you which one, but it is a part of a multi-part storyline. It's not The Circle.
I think Chief Cook is just throwing random episode titles hoping to get it.
Yeah, right. It is...
and it's not negative 27 years.
That was yesterday's answer.
Yeah.
That was yesterday's answer. But yeah, so Professor Brainy Specs, I know you know it. So, and I appreciate you and Planet X not putting the answers out because you guys are no longer eligible to win. It is not, I saw you say that earlier, Thomas Potts. It is not The Way to Eden.
Yeah, but Way to Eden part 60.
I didn't say, he didn't say that earlier. He just said okay. It's not that.
The many.
The many.
We are the many. The power of one, the power of two.
If nobody gets it by the time we get close to the end, when we have about 10 minutes left, if nobody gets it, I'll put the softball question out there. And I'll be disappointed if we don't get rapid.
Bunch of pansies here can't get the Deep Space Nine question.
Yeah.
So Worf is supposed to wear this skimpy little mankini to please Dax, but he's just like, yeah, that ain't happening.
Oh, Hannibal. Okay, here. I'll repeat the question. So in this episode, we learn of a previous relationship, not with the Vanessa Williams character, but with an off-screen character, Captain Baudet, who is referenced as having a transparent skull.
Not to be confused with Captain Boudet.
Correct. This was not, however, the first time this relationship was mentioned. The very first time this relationship was mentioned, I'll give another clue here, was in part 2 of what two-part episode of Deep Space Nine.
Well, now Chief Cook is saying The Way of the Warrior.
It's not The Way of the Warrior.
Chief, you need to stop just throwing.
I'll give you a clue. It does start with the word "the."
Well, now he's saying the Defiant.
Definitely not the Defiant.
All right, so moving on. So then we're introduced to these guys. The what were they called? Someone said it earlier.
The Buzz Killers. I don't know.
Yeah, the Buzz Killers. So the and this group is basically protesting the very concept of Risa. Their idea, the way to Eden. Yes, Thomas, you got it.
No, you didn't. I already said it's the blank, blankety, blankety, blank, 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 part 2. And I put in a bunch of extra blanks to not give you too many clues.
Yeah. The boys. So these guys are opposed to the very concept of Risa. They think that Risa is making the Federation complacent and weak. And that because, we're just becoming so soft and so hedonistic that, what are we going to do when we're faced with a serious threat? The best of both worlds. Yeah.
Ariel, first of all, why are you've already won. Reply to my email so I can send you your prize pack. Super chat.
And Alex, thank you so much with $4.99 super chat says, to clarify, Western society wants men to be thirsty for women, but not actually be able to access them. Prudish morality keeps top girls for alpha. Now, you see, first of all,
hold up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What, did somebody get it or something?
No, Arabic, not the emissary. And remember, it's the something or other.
She says she did respond. No, that's
okay. I didn't get a reply to that email, hon. So I'll check right now.
Check your spam box.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. All right, go ahead.
All right. So, does Western society want men to be thirsty for women? I don't know where you're living.
Okay, Ariel, just got your email. Thanks, hon. Your prize pack will be on the way tomorrow.
All right. So I don't know where you're living, Alex, but right now, most people in Western society want men to be beta males and subservient to women, and for women to be in control of everything. I understand that's how stereotypically it's been, but that's not the way it is today.
Ariel, you won last week. You won on Thursday. The week ago today, you won. I honestly don't remember what the question was, but that's when you won. Sorry.
I think the question was just, hey, Ariel, you want a prize pack?
I could find out. But anyway.
Mercer with the Maquis Part 2.
Boom! There's our winner, Mercer. DM me on Twitter right here, Dork Knight LV, and shoot me over your address, and I'll mail you a prize pack. And I've got something special for you, buddy. I'm glad that you won. I got something cool I'm going to put in there extra for you. Good job.
Yeah. So good job, Mercer. All right. So these guys are opposed to the very concept of RISA, but not for any moral reasons, mainly just because they're concerned that the Federation is going to become weak, which they are right. But
I actually think, of course, I expect too much out of IRA. I think it would have been a better message, if it were for moral reasons. You know what I mean? But whatever.
Yeah.
30-year-old TV show.
Yeah. So Lita is getting a sexy massage from Joe Sexy here.
Fun fact about this, almost going to be a trivia question. They reshot this scene. So the promo for this episode shows a naked Lita in a bubble bath, but Standards and Practices thought it was too risque, so they changed it to the masseuse.
Oh, okay.
But that clip is out there. You can see it's one of the, next time on Deep Space Nine.
Right.
It's her.
Although that's pretty risque right there when you look at. I mean. I think there's some glue involved in this shot.
Or double-sided tape or something.
Yes. But yeah, so Worf is, and so at this point, Worf is pissed off because they see Lita getting the sexy massage time, and Worf is like, that's dishonoring Bashir, and. She's all, man, you need to get a stick out of your butt because it's okay. Everybody can screw on Risa. It's fun. And
this is such a great message to give our kids. You know what? No wonder I grew up into becoming a man whore. I was being programmed from a very young age and had no idea.
So, and Alex, again, I don't know what kind of crap you're listening to or watching, but how about this? Instead of worrying about what society wants, since you say you're an Orthodox Christian, so why don't you follow what your Orthodox Christianity teaches? Because assuming that's anything even remotely like Protestant Christianity, it's not going to be what society is teaching you. And God should come before what the neighbors think you should do. And Chief Cook thinks Lita has great puppies. Wow. That's just way to objectify someone.
And Mercer, I just got your message. I'll curate your package tonight and drop it in the mail tomorrow. Thanks for getting to me so
Chief,
fast.
that's absolutely horrible that you would objectify someone like that. You know, you should only refer to a woman's breasts as melons or bazongas. You know, calling them puppies is just demeaning. I'm kidding, of course. And no, it's not tough to combine. All right, I got to talk about this for a second. I'm sorry, guys. I know we keep getting derailed by this stuff, but Alex paid for this stream, so hey.
I do have to leave at the 2-hour mark, just so you know.
All right, well, that's you know
about 33 minutes.
Yeah, we're okay. If we don't get through it all, we'll blame Alex.
Okay.
But so it's not tough to combine a sci-fi stream with Christianity. The thing is, and this is what people don't do, is you just need to be true to yourself. Is that, look, I can like Star Trek, but I will also call out when I think Star Trek has bad messaging or bad writing. And this is one of those episodes. And I'm not going to compromise. What is more important is, you know, actual morality is more important than, you know, the show or what society thinks. Actual morality is definitely on a higher level. And if you have to compromise your morality just to be popular or just to go along with society or just because you like a certain show, then you should not be watching that show, or you should not be, you know, listening to society or participating in society, or give up your religious beliefs, man. Just give them up, because it's not meant to be compromised and it's not meant to be easy. Sorry.
I actually think the two complement each other very well.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't have a problem. Yeah. It's, you know, it's just who you are, right? Like, for example, there are some people that love The Boys, think it's an awesome show. And more power to them. They could do live streams about how awesome they think the show is. I think the show is, you know, gratuitous, grotesque, and offensive. However, you know, and I can talk about that. It's not difficult. You just have to, but the thing that I think too many people do, and a lot of people on YouTube do this, is they compromise who they are, not because they're talking about sci-fi or whatever subject matter they're talking about. They compromise who they are so they can get more clicks. And so, you know, so that's why you have some people that are out there screaming how the Acolyte is so super woke, because that gets them more clicks. And I'm not going to do that because it's not that woke. It has some woke moments, but the show as a whole is not, you know, it's not a agenda-driven show. And so I don't care if it has a few woke moments. You know, where The Boys is clearly an agenda-driven show, you know. You there, Danny?
Yeah.
Oh, you just you were so still. I thought your picture had froze.
Oh no, sorry. I'm just
not paying attention.
Here's what I'm not. Take it however you want, people. Alex, I pray for my buddy Bram, who struggles with his alcoholism. I pray for you know. I pray for my ex that, you know, she becomes a better person. I'm going to start praying for you, man, as well. I'm just going to, and that's all I can do, because there's something wrong with you. I just can't.
Anyway, so these guys, they show up. Look, I understand they're trying to make a point that these guys, you know, and this is the funny thing. They never talk about morality, but they're dressed ultra modestly. You know, so they should be talking about morality, but they're not. Instead, they're you know, they come out and they give a speech about how the Federation would be laid waste if the Borg showed up or the Dominion attacked or whatever, and everybody's just like, yeah, whatever, dude. You're you know, you're being a buzzkill. But the Rysons don't do anything about it because they're good and enlightened and they welcome any kind of opinion. Which, by the way, in the real world, of course, they would be thrown out of the whorehouse.
Yeah.
You know. Then we have some more gratuitous stuff with Lita and Dr. Bashir, where Worf is trying to say that they're dishonoring each other because they've caught both of them screwing around with others. And Worf doesn't understand why they're being sexually immoral. And of course, Dax is like, "Oh, Worf, you stupid Klingon, take that stick out of your butt." Because that's just the ongoing theme here, is that Worf has a problem. So then these guys show up now with phasers to threaten everybody. And so Worf and Dax are going to try to fight them, and it turns out that the phasers are unloaded, basically.
Yeah, they don't have any power cells in them.
Right, and they were just trying to make a point. And Worf is like, "Yeah, I can't condone what you do," but he understood why they did it because he agrees with them. Worf and Dax try to have another conversation that goes exactly like before. Worf says Dax isn't taking their relationship seriously. Dax is like, "That's not true. Now I want to go screw people." I take our relationship totally seriously sometimes. So in attempting to take her relationship seriously, the ceremony. So Bashir and Lita have their breaking up ceremony where they drink some tea together and smash the cup and say, "Oh, what was one is now two." If people actually broke up like this, nobody would ever break up.
Right.
Because nobody is on this good of terms when they break up. But whatever. And then they explained to Quark that the whole reason they came here was to break up because she wants Rom. And it's like, really? I mean, really? Now I know this is just a fantasy show.
Yeah.
So now Worf walks in on this. This is how seriously Dax is taking her relationship with Worf. She immediately gets into a very sensual thing with her ex-lover.
Yeah.
I will tell you straight up that if, this would end the relationship if I were Worf. And Alex, thank you so much.
Super chat.
And it's a message for you, Danny. You gonna read it?
No, I'm not.
I don't even understand the point of that other than to be a troll. But look, Danny had a rough breakup with his last ex. And both of them, but let me tell you, Danny, and I'm sorry, I'm going to pick on you for a minute, but you're not going to deny anything. Danny was a fall down drunk at the time, so she had plenty of legit grievances with him as well.
Yeah, I mean, she deserved a medal for staying with me as long as she did.
Right. Frankly. So, was she a perfect person? No. But was she the devil? No. And Danny was in a very bad place at that point, and it is amazing that she stuck with him as long as she did. Quite frankly, I mean, because so stop sticking your nose in where you don't know what happened, you don't get what's going on. I was caught in the middle of this whole thing and hated every moment of it, but I am not going to sit there and crap on her. But I'm also not going to defend her because I think there was plenty of fault to go around in that relationship. And Stan, no, she did, trust me, she did not drive Danny to drink, but she did enable him a little bit. And so there's, Danny didn't drink because of her, but she knew he had a problem and didn't take any steps to stop him.
That's funny. So at the meeting I actually went to 2 meetings last night. There's the 10 o'clock's my home group I go to every single day. And then I decided to go to the midnight one. A group of us from the 10 o'clock meeting were like, hey, let's go to the midnight one. And it was a book study. And we read the chapter called To Wives, T-O, not T-W-O.
Right, like a message for the wives.
Yeah. And it's funny because they go around the room, you read like 2 or 3 paragraphs, and then you can share on it or pass it to somebody else to share on what you just read, and it kind of goes around the room like that. And man, a lot of that stuff was like, if she'd have read this and maybe tried this, would it have worked? Maybe it would have worked. I mean, it's fascinating reading.
Right.
And we were talking about this today. It's just it's interesting, but.
And I do. By the way, to answer the question from Chief Cook, I do believe he's a Bolian, the blue guy.
Yeah.
But if I were Worf and I walked in on this would be the end of the relationship.
Yeah.
Because they just had a conversation.
Not only that, but like look at.
Look at Daxter. She's like into this.
Look at the arm. It's just like, what are they like trying to recreate a scene from the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze?
Right.
Swayze. It's just
So this is absolutely wrong. And so then Worf grabs the "Come Screw Me" statue and breaks it, and then he decides to show up and help these guys by giving them the codes to get into the weather control system. So then the next day they're hanging out. All of a sudden it starts raining. Everybody in Risa is freaking out because it doesn't rain on Risa because they have a weather control system. And so, which by the way would not work because all those trees would be dead if you turned off the rain. Plants need water.
Yeah.
So then Worf explains what he did and that the storms will just be around for a couple of days. But you know what? That's too bad because, people need to learn their lesson. So...
Oh, bummer. I did not hear about that. Was that...
Donald Sutherland passed away. I mean, he's, 100 years old, but at the same time, it's sad. I don't know how old he was, but he was definitely on the old side. Let's see. And, we have 20 minutes. Okay, good. Donald Sutherland, died today. He was born in 1935, so he was 88. So he didn't do too bad. And Alex, thank you so much, dude. You know what? It's so funny because it's like when I'm so mean to you is when you super chat the most. So is that what you want? You just want me to be mean to you? Is that? Which is okay. I can do that. That's why they call me salty. He says, I'm just a random guy on the Never Kenzie trying to get you to unplug from...
the Nebuchadnezzar.
The Nebuchadnezzar. Trying to get you to unplug... It's so funny because he was making fun of me earlier because I can't pronounce Greek names. Nebuchadnezzar is a Hebrew name. Right back at you, dude. Anyway, to get you to unplug from the Matrix and use your eyes, it gets only fighting agents Sentinel here. Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing here. Because you think that the answer is to plug into the Matrix and just to go along with what society wants. You think, just, turning your back on God and just indulging in whatever you want to do and basically like living like you were on Risa, that's a good thing. Dude, you are the one who's blue-pilled here. Totally blue-pilled. And it scares me when people look. And the reason I say stop calling yourself a Christian, the only thing worse than an out-and-out atheist is a progressive Christian. When I say progressive, I don't mean you're a liberal politically. There is an actual theological idea of progressive Christianity where you basically just say, you know what, these rules that we don't like, we don't need to follow them. And so when you are, it's one thing like. And the Bible's very clear about this. All of us struggle with sin. All of us will fail in that respect from time to time. Everyone will sin. However, It's when you openly, willingly, wantonly sin and you don't care, or you'll even defend it. That's when it's a problem. So it's not the fact that people make mistakes or whatever. It's that, you know what? Yeah, I know the Bible says I shouldn't screw around, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's fun. You know, if that's your genuine attitude, dude, here's what Christ says about that. It's better for you to have a freaking tombstone chained to your neck and you thrown into the ocean than to mislead other people like that. So that's why I say stop calling yourself a Christian. Jesus himself said it's better for you to not be a Christian, than to actually teach people that that's okay within Christianity. Anyway, and yes, Mercer. So they do. Well, this is one of the. I think that this episode is a fever dream, because yes, Vanessa Williams' character supposedly killed Curzon by screwing him, even though we saw in the first episode, The Emissary, that Curzon died on the operating table donating the symbiote to Jadzia. So, patently false. Anyway, and Chief, you do not get to order me. I'm sorry. I understand that you want us to finish talking. When we'll finish talking, don't worry. There's not that much left in this episode. What the heck are you typing so furiously?
Sorry, I'll mute it. A client of mine is having a kind of a minor emergency issue I'm trying to resolve. Sorry.
Of course. So, and Rodents of Unusual Size with another super chat says, this episode suffered budget-wise coming from after the Tribbles episode. Vanessa Williams' character says she killed Curzon. Yes, which I just addressed that. But you know what? If they had a $21 million budget like they do for Acolyte, that wouldn't have helped this episode. This episode suffered from bad writing, not from low budget. I mean, this is a low budget episode. I mean, there's not a lot of visual effects or anything like that in this episode, but that's not the problem with this episode. The problem with this episode is that it is just a horrifically immoral episode.
Yeah.
All right. So then the guys decide that it's not enough that they made it rain for a few days because the Ryzens will just forget about that as soon as the rain's over. So they decide to up the ante by start causing earthquakes and tornadoes and stuff, and the whole planet's going to basically shake itself apart. And that's when Worf and Dax are like, oh, I guess we should do something about this. And, if up to this point, I think what would have been better is at this point, during Worf and Dax's conversations, if we slowly saw a change in Dax, and at this point she realizes Worf was right, that morality is important, fidelity is important, and the Federation is getting weak because of stuff like this. But at the same time, once it gets to this point, they're like, that doesn't justify, destroying the place. It doesn't justify murder. And so at this point, they need to stand up to the group that's doing all this. I think that would have been a far better episode. But Dax doesn't really learn a lesson. The whole thing is about Worf learning a lesson. And so they show up, and Worf basically takes away the device that was controlling the planet, turns it off. Oh, and of course... and then we get this whole thing about self-control. Man, okay, this made me mad, and wow, Alex,
I was going to leave that one alone, but you're...
No. I'm going to say this, Alex. If you really believe that, you've never read the Bible, number one. Number two, Why don't you bring that up at my church live stream tomorrow morning, and we'll unpack that. Seriously. If you want to talk about it, I will do a full unpacking of your belief. We'll talk about sexual morality in depth tomorrow morning on my church live stream. Fair? Or actually, it won't be tomorrow morning because my wife and I are going to a movie tomorrow morning. So I'll do a late church live stream like tomorrow afternoon.
What are you watching?
Tomorrow we're going to, interestingly enough, The Exorcism, starring Russell Crowe.
Oh. So, Thomas, I'm not sure what you're referring to here, but if you want to, if you're talking about my new special lady friend, there's quite an age gap, but that's none of your concern. So
she's actually very young, which surprised the crap out of me. I was expecting her to be like 70, you know.
It's weird. I seem to.
And she is way too good looking for you.
Thank you. I agree.
When I saw it, when she actually sat down and put on the headphones and was talking to us, I was like, okay, this is a joke, right? This is her daughter? Or that can't be her.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's a paid Rycian or something, because I was like, there's no way that is interested in Danny. So,
come on.
So congratulations, dude.
Don't refer to her as that.
You are punching way out of your weight class. So
I am.
Yeah.
I know I am. So that's why I'm taking this. Like I said, we pray together. I'm taking this one really seriously.
You
I'm
should
try not to repeat mistakes of the past.
Honestly, yeah, and you know, the worst thing you guys can do right now is screw around.
Yeah.
Because this is a time that you guys should be getting to know each other, truly getting to know each other, not getting to know what you like in bed.
So here, Stan, this is funny. That was a total accident. It was a total accident. She needed a shirt. She had spilled something on her shirt, needed a shirt. I told her she could pick out any shirt she wanted, and she didn't know what Criticalist was. It's just got the pinks and all the bright colors, so she happened to wear that, and that was earlier in the day. And then I got up to go.
So you got her out of her shirt, huh?
Well, not in front of me. But anyway. Okay. So I believe it was. I got up to go to the bathroom, right, and then she snuck in, and happened to be wearing the Criticalist shirt, and so then I was kind of egging her on to you know. I don't really think she did a promo on it or anything, but it was funny. Yeah.
Right. You know, and did Alex answer? Let's see. I will try to drop off my kid at the clinic. Well, I will try to do an afternoon church life tomorrow. In fact, maybe we'll just do a church life sexual immorality special.
There you go.
And that way you can watch it later. And I'll spend a few hours getting ready for it. Even I'll look up every verse there is on it. But
Mom, I'll call you after the stream. Sorry, I'm so sorry. You always learn new things on this show that I haven't talked to you about yet.
Yeah. By the way, they're getting married next week. You shouldn't. No.
Not true.
Yeah.
Super chat.
Okay, it's another one for you.
Oh my God! Really?
You see, Alex. How could you call your? I know we keep going back to the Christian thing, and some people might find that annoying. But how can you call yourself a Christian and say something like that? Seriously, it hurts my brain. And Penny says I have a dad joke for you. Okay, well, I'm waiting.
Oh, well, I could use a good dad joke right about now. And Bradley, this is hilarious because I made that joke. I was like, well, I'm never shaving because she likes my beard. Because, if I shave, she might, I don't think
she'd see what he really looks like and be like, whoa.
Yeah, deuces. You know.
And Thomas with a super chat.
Super chat.
Says, I'm referring to how Vessa Williams banged Curzon, who is really old. Oh, yeah. Almost like how you thought Old Lady Crusher is hot. Okay.
All right.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, there you go. So the moral of the story is that hookers are good and Worf needs to loosen up. And so then Worf and Dax decide that they're going to go skinny dipping together. That's actually how this episode ends.
Yeah.
And then credits.
Thank God it's over.
Yeah.
Mom, if this is your dad joke, I don't get it. So it started with, do you know it says men are supposed to make the coffee?
It says so in the Bible.
It says
so what's
so in the Bible.
I'm assuming there's a punchline.
Yeah, is this the setup for a punchline?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, if that's the whole joke, it's a pretty lame one. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not going to even read that one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Hebrews. Hebrews. Oh man.
Yeah, that was a good one, Mom. That was a good one.
Okay, here if you want. Okay, Bible dad jokes. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, yeah.
Who is the most interesting character in the Bible?
Who?
Noah. He had the best ark.
That was good too. Oh my God, I'm so glad this is over. Let's wrap up, say goodbye, because I want to talk to you for a few. I do got to leave in 8 minutes, but I want to talk to you off.
All right. So yeah. So in essence, this episode is the anti-sexual morality episode.
Yeah.
I think that it is horrifically bad as far as its moral message. It's cringeworthy as far as its dialogue. It is unworthy of the name Star Trek. I would rather watch most of Discovery than this episode, because at least there are episodes of Discovery that are just blah. There are episodes that I don't like, but most of Discovery isn't this level of offensive.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say that this managed to be worse than the last terrible episode of Discovery, but better than the one that we got, the captain and the commander. I liked. I forget the guy from Battlestar.
Right.
But this is an FU out of 10 if we're just rating this.
Yeah, this is
episode.
absolutely an FU out of 10.
I don't ever want to sit through it again.
Yeah. I could have never watched this episode again and been perfectly happy.
Yeah.
You know, I watched the Dominion War ones over and over and over. This is one that I have not watched this one probably since it originally aired, because I knew I hated this episode.
Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't remember it, but I almost wish I had, because I would have protested more. Against watching it with you in the first place. I would like to. We'll talk about that off the air. Never mind. Sorry.
No. What you want to what?